Why is 343 being so secretive about Halo Infinite? I have a handful of theories based on a lot of time and research that explains the lack of Halo gameplay, lack of story, lack of anything substantial, and a couple things have started to make me worry actually, and the consequences of 343 not revealing anything is kind of worrisome. If you do enjoy these videos, then do me a big favor, just smash that like button blue. As always, likes really help my videos out on a technical level for YouTube's algorithm. It bumps it up the search results and gets it out to more Halo fans. Thanks so much. Let's go ahead and get into it. So today we have a handful of theories, but I'm going to start with the most logical one, the one that makes the most sense to me, and it's also the least depressing. And that would be is that 343 is so secretive about Halo Infinite because it is so closely linked to the next generation console, the Xbox Series X. Basically, all the news about the Xbox Series X is indirect news for Halo Infinite. Think about it. We know that there is going to be extreme processing on the next console for open worlds. There's going to be hundreds of complex AI on screen. That is possible, and so on. Those are things that are at least possible for Halo Infinite. And also, Halo Infinite news is Xbox Series news. And this is where the problem comes in. Microsoft wants to control the narrative and stay secretive and only release things that they are confident about releasing as far as marketing goes for the Xbox Series X, thus making Halo and virtually every other first-party game that Microsoft is producing for the new console to be locked down and secretive and only to be a part, an extension of Xbox Series X news and marketing. Now, keep that in mind. It could also be a part of how bad 2020 has been around the world. It's no secret things have changed right now and may just be better to be strategic about this and wait for the whole thing to end. Of course, this theory doesn't quite explain why we haven't got 5 years of info besides little nuggets of things here and there, but it may explain why marketing on Halo Infinite didn't start back in March or April, which I originally predicted, or even here in June. But anyway, Microsoft might be hoping for people to get back on their feet financially. Why? Because when they advertise Halo Infinite and the Xbox Series X and all these things, a lot of people are going to rush to pre-order, and having a lot of pre-orders right off the bat, I imagine, is a big part of their marketing plan, and usually something that happens around the original E3 date, June 9th. But people are just not really buying things right now. A lot of people just can't. And remember, Halo Infinite is a part of the flagship for the Xbox Series X. It's really important that this game sells well, and also Halo Infinite has been developed for 5 years. It probably has a production budget of around $500 million. So yeah, there is a lot weighing on this game to make sure that they do it right and make sure that the audience that they are advertising to can actually buy it. And another extension onto this theory is that Halo has fundamentally changed on a graphical and technical level to such an astonishing, shocking point that any gameplay or reveal would give away the Xbox capability, things that Microsoft just isn't ready to reveal yet, and instead they want people to be all hyped about and to know all about in one place all at one time, and that would be sometime in July. We already know that the Xbox Series X is a powerhouse, far superior to the Xbox One, and can do a lot of things that just wasn't possible before, such as, like I said before, hundreds of AI and much faster rendering and optimization of open worlds, and maybe even massive multiplayer battles, especially with that free-to-play leak. It's possible that gameplay in of itself might be a spoiler as to what the Xbox can actually do here. We could also go into the extreme opposite, which I think is unlikely, but maybe Halo Infinite is underwhelming on a graphical and technical level, where Microsoft just wouldn't want to show that to audiences until they can show off that the Xbox Series X is capable of doing such things, but I really doubt that. Now, there's also a theory I'm going to just call the wider audience theory. Sean W. actually touched upon this, and I'll get more into his video later, but this theory basically explains why 343 is giving millions of Halo fans blue balls. A rumor, which is likely true based on other associated rumors ending up being true, is that Halo Infinite will be free to play, basically available to literally every person on the planet. And we've also heard that before this game will be a spiritual reboot, meaning potentially a lot of different things, but probably adds up to the fact that 343 is more interested in appealing to a larger audience than just the normal Halo fan base. I would say undoubtedly so. After all, Halo fans like you and me me are probably going to buy the game no matter what. I mean, of course, I want to see how this next game turns out, regardless what IGN or GameSpot or other people, other Halo fans might say about it. Of course, I'm going to play it, and chances are a lot of you two are as well. Of course, it's in their best interest to make sure that Halo fans and new players all stick with the game and play for it for a long time. But if 343 can appeal to a much larger audience hoping to become a viral sensation like Fortnite, but hopefully in its own way, then Microsoft will have made well on their 5-year investment in Halo Infinite and then some. And the game has also been alluded to being a live service, which is just more evidence supporting this theory. So why hold off the marketing? They intend to set up a viral marketing campaign with flights. Get this, by getting popular streamers like Ninja to advertise the game by playing it and reacting to it and all that good stuff. Later in July, maybe even as late as August. So this could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, I don't know. Just based on what other companies have done, it is a bit concerning if this is true. And I would say that it is probably more likely to be true than you might imagine. 343 could have also taken a back step on the whole Battle Royale stance, of which previously they said they were interested in doing, but maybe something has changed since then because there's just been a lot of talk about Battle Royale in the Halo community. There's just a lot of possibility, and plus it's not a feature that will really break the game. It should just be an added feature added to the multiplayer, although that's a whole controversial thing I don't really want to get into today's video, but certainly something to think about. John W., a Halo YouTuber, actually touched upon a numbers game theory, and it's sort of like the one I just mentioned, but in essence, we Halo fans are much less than those who could be potential fans. I'll link his video down in the comment section below, but basically, again, 343 has much more to gain money-wise, appealing to much of the bigger audience that doesn't play Halo than they do with the people that do play Halo. This just makes sense, all right? And it sucks, but it certainly is a likely possibility. And if you ever want to know someone's motives or true intentions, especially a corporation, just follow the money. I mean, it's pretty obvious. 343's motive is to make more money. Even if they're going to do it about a soulful and wonderful and awesome way, that at the end of the day is their job. They are trying to make money. There are people that are hired just to make sure that the game makes good money, all right? There's no crime in this. It's not bad. Morally, it's just what companies are about. It makes sense, all right? But 343's PR and care to individual fans or smaller parts of the community, I would say, has been promising for the past few years. Not back in 2014 or really 2015, but since Halo 5 has released, it seems that they have got someone to focus much more on delivering. So that whole money aspect and whole money motive is not really a problem. Plus, thankfully, it seems like what we love is partially what the masses love as far as a story goes, I think. Now, there's a lot of things to touch upon in that statement I just made, which I won't go into, but what I'm more worried about than the story being appealing to the masses is the multiplayer appealing to the masses. That's when Halo 4's multiplayer took a beating, which no one loved, and it was just all about appealing to some audience that wasn't us, at least. And also, this whole free-to-play rumor potential leak is, again, probably going to be heavily focused on eSports and is going to be competitive focus, which is all kind of concerning to me as a casual player and someone that leans towards story and playing Halo for the fun of it, not worrying so much about the competitive aspect of it. Another theory as to why 343 is hiding Halo Infinite so well is because they don't want another marketing disaster. So with Halo 5, the marketing campaign known as Hunt the Truth was actually really exciting. It was well executed, but the problem is that it didn't really represent the game all too well. In fact, I would say that the marketing was better written and more interesting and alluring than the actual game itself. So instead of doing all that again, like a Halo Infinite Hunt the Truth, they are leaving out the viral marketing campaign for Halo Infinite, and they are just going classic vanilla marketing with it like they did with maybe Halo Reach or Halo 4. Let me explain. Holding off on releasing details or concept art about the game can be just as effective in some cases on making a game seem even more exciting. Of course, I've seen some of you guys seem really bummed out and uninterested, and yet you're still watching Halo videos, right? I think it has drawn a lot of curiosity regarding what this game is about, and people just aren't satisfied yet. People are still tuning in, looking for any scrap of Halo news. Of course, it's getting pretty sad, and I think a viral marketing campaign right around now would be pretty timely. It would be pretty great, but they're leaving that out for a reason, and I think they just don't want to play with that stuff anymore, at least after Halo 5. My last theory is that perhaps it just seems this way. Perhaps it just seems that 343 is being super secretive about the game because it's been such a long time. I mean, Halo 5 released back in 2015, and we really have not much to go on it, especially with story. I will say, however, that in my 9 years of covering Halo, Infinite does seem to be a bit more secretive than Halo 4 especially, but also Halo 5 and especially Halo Wars 2. Halo 4 did have Halo Fest and a lot of teases well before its release and reveals, but 343 was kind of figuring out their marketing strategy. And then Halo 5 had Hunt the Truth, which was more at that point than it is at this point as far as releases go. But with Infinite, there is no viral marketing campaign. Maybe there might be one in July, but if the game releases in November or even as late as December, then honestly, still, we are talking about only 4 or 5 months of marketing, which honestly is kind of standard, but I'm really curious as to how they're going to do it. I mean, last time we got Infinite news was a whole year ago during E3 2019. They said that the hype train wasn't going to slow down in December 2019, and here we are with pretty much absolutely nothing, I would argue, except for a couple little toys. So while one or two of these theories may actually be correct, maybe all of them, maybe none of them, it does bring about a major problem for us and 343 Industries. Expectations, all right? In some ways, I would argue nostalgia and expectations have been a great problem, not only for Halo and video games, but also in life in general, all right? With 5 years with almost no idea about the gameplay, the direction of the story, and so on, they may have completely screwed the pooch on the game already, because essentially, indirectly, they have gotten people so hyped with such high expectations for a game that's been in development for 5 years that maybe 343 could not actually deliver on what we are expecting. On the flip side, however, they haven't really explained what the game is or how big the scope is. They just said that it's a big scope. The game is going to be big and better than ever. That's pretty much all we know, just really plain words. Unlike No Man's Sky, who's, claimed that the game was going to be really expansive, really detailed, every planet was going to be different. It just wasn't that way, when we got our hands on No Man's Sky. Basically, expectations that, for the most part, are self-imposed by Halo players might be so high where it will be impossible for 343 to actually accomplish those things, because 5 years is a long time, but still, it doesn't mean that a game's going to be perfect and flawless. Well, they're probably going to be pretty upset when the game isn't like that. It goes two ways. Some people have really high expectations, and other people have no idea what to expect, and I think I'm on the latter side of the camp. And lastly, here is the big drawback to all of this, is that yes, I know 343 Industries has learned a lot with Halo 4, Halo 5, and Halo Wars 2, but you never really know what people are going to like until we get a reaction, until that big trailer, until the gameplay drops in July. 5 years of development working on stuff that people could potentially hate, that even their plan to appeal to the masses could completely flop. If they work on trying to make a game that appeals to the masses, they could lose both audiences. The wide audience, the millions of gamers out there, might not be interested in Halo right now. They might not like what Halo Infinite is about. And also us, as Halo fans, might not like what they did to change to appeal to that grander audience. At the end of the day, like I've said for years, Halo needs to be its own thing. There has been no game that has gone viral, that has done well, that in a sense did not care about doing well, that instead came from a soulful place, that the artists had ability to do what they want and the developers had the ability to make the game the best they can do, and anything short of that will show in the final thing. We need a great story, great gameplay, great mechanics that is not based on any audience, either us or the bigger audience out there for gamers. It just needs to have its own identity. Guys, if you haven't already, smash that like button blue. I appreciate likes so much. It really helps out the content. Also, let me know your own theories as to why 343 is being so secretive about Halo Infinite. Regardless of what the case is, I'm sure we will probably get some light on the situation in just a couple weeks when the game is going to be revealed sometime in July. I think early July. If I had to say any day, it would be any day in early July to coordinate with the other Xbox 2020 events. I am thinking that it will be placed on a Saturday or Sunday so people that work can actually watch it and tune in. So probably either July 4th or July 11th. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. All right, you take care. Peace.